Hey kids, good evening. Just wanted to let you know that tonight Dad and I are going to try that new pizza recipe that I found online. It's at a popular diet program type website, but I'm going to give it a whirl anyway, see what happens. So I want to show you what I've done so far to prep. Okay, since I'm going to be making a recipe for both Dad and I got out the two griddles. They called for lining it with parchment paper, but guess who forgot parchment paper at the store? I did. So I just lightly buttered that. In the meanwhile, over here, I have a pound of ground chicken plus 1 teaspoon of homemade Italian seasoning, 4 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add the 2 eggs here in a minute as soon as I whip them. And these are the toppings that it calls for. Tomato slices, mushrooms, peppers, which I got 2 different kinds, yellow and green, spinach, and onion. So I'm going to get this prepped and get the meat in the oven because it has to cook first. It's going to make the shell. And then you add the toppings and put it back in again. The oven's set at 400. I'm going to get the meat prepped and in the little pans and get them in the oven and start cooking. And then I'll be back with you to show how that turns out. Okay, so I got the meat mixture mixed up here. I split it in half just by eyeballing it from the bowl. This is what it turned out in. And I used some gloves just because I don't like mixing meat and having everything all on my fingers and then trying to use dry ingredients. So I'm going to use my gloves, flatten this stuff out as best as I can for the whole thing, and then slide it in the oven, 400 degrees for 20 minutes, I think is what the recipe says. So we'll see what happens here in a bit. Okay, so the ground chicken mixture is in the oven in those things, and I have to admit we're about 3 minutes away from the buzzer going off and it smells really good. In the meantime, I went ahead and I shredded about a half a pound of low moisture mozzarella cheese, so I have it ready. The sequence of events is supposed to be spinach, tomato, then cheese, and then adding other vegetables like your onions and mushrooms and peppers and stuff like that. So when they come out of the oven, I'm going to show you what they look like, because like I said, they smell really amazing. I just hope it tastes as good as it smells, and we'll see what they look like before they get popped back in the oven again, enough to melt the cheese. Everything else is pretty much done. Be back in a minute. Okay, here they are prepped, ready to go back in the oven again. Let you take a look at them when they come out. Okay, so here it is. It's all done and melty and come out just fresh out of the oven. Had this in there just about 9 minutes to melt the cheese and do the veggies. I see now why they want to put it on parchment paper, because if you look at the edge of the pan there, I don't know if you can see that very good or not. Let's try that. But if you look at the edge of the pan there, the Parmesan may be an issue when we start to clean up the griddles, but that's okay. I know the dishwasher and he don't care. So that's all for now. We'll let you see it later on once we start tasting it and give you a report on how well it turned out.